chat to you, Prue, Prue Pittock is the illustrator of Isla's Family Tree. I want to have a talk to you, Prue, today. Hi. I want to talk to you today about the illustration process, because I find as an author, it's such a important and interesting part of making a picture book, and people don't realise how long it takes to illustrate a picture book, and the time involved and the amount of effort you guys put into illustrating a picture book is phenomenal. In fact, I often talk to kids in workshops and author presentations, and they ask me, how long did it take to make the book? And when I say to them, years to get the manuscript right, and then another couple of years to give the illustrator time to draw it and then get the book printed, they can't believe it. So, so I'd like to go a bit deeper into the your illustration journey with Isla.
Yeah.
So when you first, I was going to put you on gallery mode. There you go, on speaker mode. When you first read the manuscript for Isla's Family Tree from EK Books, what images came to you first?
Obviously the little girl, she's the main character, so I was sort of trying to picture her and the colour palette, because Anushka did say, a limited colour palette was the way we were going with this. So yeah, that was sort of my first idea of
so Isla came to you first, and the finished Isla compared to the first Isla, was she different, or was she very similar?
Yeah, well, I had her as curly haired, which I can show you.
Yeah, I'd love to see a picture.
Having said that, I can't find that. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yep.
So she was.
Move her over a bit to the left.
Curly hair.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. Keep going a bit to the left. Keep going left. Keep going. Yay!
Oh,
stop.
Sorry.
And up a bit. Yeah. Yay! There she is.
Yeah. Aww. So that was sort of one of the early ones.
Yeah.
This was the one that I did send to the publisher.
Yes.
Just to see if she was sort of happy with the way I was heading, and she was, so that was great.
And she's got a checkered dress there.
Yeah, bit different, but I just went with the spot in the end. Actually, this is probably the very first lot of drawings I did after I sort of did the colour, so it's a bit hard to see. These are all pencil, but this is every page, just sort of what page I'm going to end up on, but just sort of getting a rough idea how each page is going to look.
Wow.
So and then this was sort of in preparation for the publisher, so little storyboard really. So.
Wow. And I can see there, Prue, you've got yellow in there, and yellow wasn't in the final book.
No.
Tell us about the colour change there.
Yeah, I did start with the 3 colours. I just thought, it might, being it's a picture book, it's going to be a little bit more colourful and a bit more attractive for kids. But Anushka liked the pink and the orange, and we dropped the yellow basically, and I had more of a coral colour. Coral pink that turned into the hot pink, so it just had a bit more pop on the page, which I think it does. Definitely. So this was every page.
I love seeing the roughs, and I love seeing your handwritten notes all around it. I love it.
I know, notes and all along the way. And then I sort of quite often, well, I did in this case too, but I'll draw it up to scale and do a rough, and then shoot that off to the publisher as well. And then when they come back, I can pretty much, I've got a light table, so I can pretty much, if everything's fine and been approved, I can just draw it straight up onto the paper. So
excellent. So
it kind of helps me.
So what did you use to do the drawings? So you used pencil.
Coloured pencil, a little bit of coloured pencil, gouache. I like gouache, and just pen and ink.
Excellent. And some people might like to know, what kind of paper do you use?
I used a mixed media pad for this one, but mostly I use Arches if I'm doing sort of watercolour or a lot of paint work. But just a mixed media pad. for this
beautiful.
one. Yeah.
And how's the items that you use to draw Isla's family tree? How are they similar or different to the two books you did before, Isla?
Oh, what do you mean?
So do you use the same materials for each book each time, or do you mix it up?
Oh, as the medium?
Yes.
Yes. No, totally different. The other two were more coloured pencil and lead pencil. So not the black and white, yeah. Not the ink, yeah. So they were different. Yeah.
And tell me about the cat. Why did you choose for Isla to have a pet cat?
Yeah, well, we had the dog because the dog was in there and had the strawberry milk spilled on it. So I just felt like, Isla needed a little pet. Yeah. So
because you love drawing animals.
I do, yeah, and I love cats. Cats and dogs and rabbits. I love,
No, I love cats too. I'm glad she had a cat because I had cats around me growing up. Yeah, it was lovely.
Yeah.
I've got a funny story. I don't know if I've told you. I put a post on Facebook a week ago and said the cat didn't have a name, and a little boy jumped in and asked if we could call the cat Antonio. So now I don't know if you had a name for the cat, but we call the cat Antonio. Oh.
Well, in the paper doll notes, I did say, think of a name for the cat because it didn't have a name. So,
so no, it's called Antonio. Oh, so how long? I know there's sort of stopping and starting between doing initials and waiting for feedback from Anushka, and then doing roughs and then waiting for feedback from Anushka before you can do your finals. How long do you think roughly it took you to actually illustrate Isla?
Well, probably the final drawings. Once I get going, I'm pretty good and I'm pretty disciplined. So I get out into the studio every day and get into it because I really want to make that deadline. So probably 3 or 4 months of solid finished final art.
And so what does a day look like for you when you're working towards a deadline? What does your routine look like?
I will probably get to the studio about 10:30, so it's just literally in the backyard, but I'll get all the bits and pieces done inside and then come out, stop for lunch, probably half an hour, and then probably wind up about 4:30 in the afternoon.
Good. And do you prefer working during the day than at night time?
Not great at night. Much prefer the day.
And describe your studio. What does it look like?
Well, it's a nice big space, so I'm lucky there. It was my son's sort of bungalow when he was sort of growing up as a teenager. So it's lovely. It's in the garden and plenty of room and plenty of light and it's perfect. Good. Got the radio on, got a fridge.
That's good. And I'd want a kettle. And so what do you drink? What do you drink? And I'm thinking, are you a tea or a coffee person or a water or?
Bit of both, bit of both. But I don't have a kettle over here because I just sort of think it's, when you're drawing, you sort of stiffen up a bit. So it's great to be able to go for a walk. And so I'll go off and go into the house and have something to drink and
Oh, very good. So any little, just as a last little question, any little disaster stories along the way when doing Isla, or any funny little stories you'd like to tell?
Well, because I do everything by hand, so I'm not into digital, which is something I probably should learn. There was a page, it's page 6, so it was an early page, and it was sort of late in the procedure that Anushka said to me, the middle trunk shouldn't have been that long because she hasn't added the extra bit. So when you read the story, you'll understand. So I had to redo the whole page again from scratch because I couldn't sort of white out that without it being very noticeable. So that was a disaster. A couple of times with the lettering, there was a few, when I was hand lettering the names on the leaves. So a couple of times I mucked up the lettering, so I'd have to start all over again. So another page. So I've got a lot of these. I should send some up to you. You can frame them.
I'd love to. I'd frame anything and put it on my wall. Oh, and so Anushka and I. Well, Anushka and I had a good chat about the actual lettering on the leaves and what we wanted that handwriting to look like, actually, because kids around the age of 7 6, 7, which we sort of roughly sorry, I just changed view so people can see both of us. How will we make that handwriting look? Would we invert letters as kids often do her age, and in the end we decided we wouldn't. And I actually went to
I remember the sample. You sent some samples of your daughter's writing.
I did. I went through her I pulled out her year 1 and her kindergarten books, because I still have all their exercise books from kindergarten, and I photographed samples of her handwriting so we could have a look at it. Isn't that interesting? Funny little things we do behind the scenes.
I know.
Oh, very good. All right. Well, sounds like you had a lovely time making our book. I had a wonderful time writing it.
It was great. It's gorgeous. Wonderful. It looks great and it's a great story. So thanks to all EK and the book designer. They did a great job.
Excellent. All right. Well, I'll pop our websites at the end of this little video, so if people would like to look at your work further, they can either go onto your Facebook page and Instagram. You put some lovely things on Instagram, and they can have a look at your work further. And good luck with the next book.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Katrina. Lovely chatting.
No worries. Yeah, you too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.